Secretary from Pennsylvania, Ms. Wild.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Secretary. I have good news. I think we can agree on a point that was made in your opening statement, and I think I'm quoting it properly, that great education should not be dependent on family income. Is that a correct quote? And I assume that also includes, it should not be dependent on zip code. Fair to say? Yeah. And can we agree that that should be one of the primary goals of the Department of Education, that a good education is not dependent on those factors?
Yes, that's certainly one of my goals.
I have grave concerns that the program that you talked about, the Education Freedom Scholarships, does not bring us closer to that goal. And since it's been several hours since you discussed that proposal, I'll remind everyone that this would be a federal tax credit, dollar-for-dollar tax credit, to encourage voluntary contributions of up to $5 billion each year for scholarships to elementary and secondary students. And that's called the Education Freedom Scholarships. But I have to concur in what my colleague, Representative Fudge, said, that that just creates another hole in our federal budget. Your written testimony that the proposal does not divert a single penny away from public school teachers or public school students is just, with all due respect, inaccurate, because of course it does, because it takes away tax dollars that can be devoted to education. So the other thing about the Education Freedom Scholarships that I have to note is that it's completely dependent on voluntary contributions. And I don't understand how that will lift up poorer states or students in low-income districts. In response to one of my colleagues from Pennsylvania who made a statement earlier, you responded by saying, and I'm from Pennsylvania also, Madam Secretary, Pennsylvania has had great success in meeting students' needs. Well, I have to differ with you on that. The students in my district are not all on a level playing field. Indeed, we have a few districts that are terrific, great school districts, but we also have distressed school districts, and those school districts are not likely to benefit in any way from Education Freedom Scholarships, because the people who live in their districts or even in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are very unlikely to contribute money because they simply don't have the wherewithal. I want to switch gears for a moment. I want to talk about the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA. And it's my understanding that it was to strike an important balance in updating K through 12 law by putting states and districts in charge of how to best support struggling schools, but with the expectation that meaningful action would be taken to close persistent achievement gaps. And I'm sure you would agree with me, wouldn't you, Madam Secretary, that you are charged with implementing ESSA through oversight, monitoring, and enforcement of the law's requirements. You'd agree with me on that?
Yes.
Okay. I know that the department recently released 2018 performance reports for 6 states, and all 6 from that report were flagged to take immediate action to address significant compliance and quality concerns related to ESSA implementation. And I personally was very troubled by the number and the breadth of the issues that were revealed in those performance reports, particularly the findings that the states are not implementing their approved ESSA plans with fidelity. And that without strong federal oversight of the accountability measures in ESSA, there's little incentive for states to improve educational outcomes, at least under that law. So I'm concerned that your reorganization of the department may have diminished further this department's capacity to conduct adequate monitoring for noncompliance. And I'd ask if you could comment on that.
Well, Congresswoman, let me just say that we are committed to ensuring that states implement their ESSA plans per the law, and that they are continuing to raise the bar for themselves and for students. And I have confidence that state leaders and state leadership want to see the best for their students, and we are wanting to be partners with them in ensuring that they are completing or following through on their plans as designated. And then let me just comment one moment on a couple of things
I'm going to be running out of time, and I want to, I want to get back.
That was absolutely
I want to get back to my question, please. So regarding ESSA, is it your testimony that there has been no reduction in capacity for department staff that is charged with oversight and monitoring of the states?
No, the elementary and secondary education staff is very focused on ensuring that ESSA monitoring and compliance.
I don't think that answers my question, because my question wasn't whether they're focused. My question was whether their capacity, because of reduction of department staff, has been affected.
No, the capacity is not impacted, no.
Do you have the same number of department staff who are still charged with compliance?
We've had some attrition department-wide.
You replace those people who leave?
The ones that need to be replaced, the positions that need to be replaced are being replaced or have been replaced,
Let me
yes.
move on. Each state was given 30 days to provide fresh evidence to the department to resolve those issues, and 3 states were required to submit amendments to their approved ESSA plans. Has that happened? Have you received that evidence?
I don't have the specific data on that. I'd be happy to get back with you if you'd like to submit a
Are there
question.
deadlines for the states to submit the evidence?
I'm sure there are, and again, if you have specific questions in that area, I would be happy with a question.
We will follow up with those. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.